Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Yes, it's the Skeptic Zone, episode number 502 for the 2nd of July, 2018. Richard Saunders here with you from wintry, cold, wet Sydney, Australia. At last, the heavy coats have come out. Coming up on this week's show, a slightly shorter show than normal, owing to the fact that I've been a little bit busy this week and I'm preparing for a trip anyway. Anyway, we still have some stuff for you. Mind Body Wallet report. Good old Mind Body Wallet. Good old Mind Body Wallet. The psychic fair and alternative fair in Sydney every 6 months. I, together with a small but dedicated group of skeptics, braved Mind Body Wallet once again to bring you the report coming up at the top of the show. And one of the skeptics who joined us is Trish Hann, and a little bit later on in the show, Trish will give her report on another issue concerning vaccinations from her point of view. And what an interesting point of view it is. What an interesting area I hadn't considered before. This generation of kids growing up and wanting to do careers in medicine, only to discover they're not vaccinated because their parents were objectors many years ago. What an interesting report coming up later on with Trish Hann. Thank you, Trish. Also, I'll be giving a short report about one of the incredible, and I mean, when I say incredible, I mean fantastical, I mean unbelievable products I saw. Crystals for your pet. Crystals for your dog or cat or horse or guinea pig or mouse or snake or whatever it is. Now, don't forget those people in Berkeley, in California, and San Francisco, in the Bay Area. Head to skepticalcon.com to get your tickets. I think there still are some available. That's June the 10th in Berkeley, and I'll be there. I'm a special guest taking part in something called Skeptity. It's like Jeopardy for skeptics. I'm not sure what that's about. I know I'll have fun. I know I'd like to see you there if you're in the area. Head to skepticalcon.com to get your tickets, and hopefully I'll be over jet lag and I'll have a great time in Berkeley. Now, if you can't make it to Berkeley, California, and you're in Oregon, why not come along to my talk in Bend, Oregon, on the 18th of June, Monday the 18th of June, hosted by Brian Dunning. And that will be from 6 p.m. at Pappy's Pizzeria, which is 20265, or that's a long street address, 20,265 Maya Drive in Bend. Must be a very long street. I'll be giving a talk about what it's like to be a TV skeptic. And the blurb at Meetup says, meet Richard Saunders, the skeptical judge on the top-rating TV show called The One, the search for Australia's most gifted psychic. Are psychics real? Smoke and mirrors? Did Saunders change his mind about the paranormal? Find out in this free and lively discussion, moderated by Brian Dunning, host of Skeptoid Media's weekly podcasts. Of course, there'll be plenty of time to talk with fellow critical thinkers. And eat pizza, I hope, too. Note, there is no admission charge, but we ask you to honour Pappy's Pizzeria by ordering food and beverages. I don't think that'll be a problem. It looks pretty good to me. I don't think that'll be a problem. If you're able to make it, if you're in Oregon, it'd be great to see you. And I'll put a link to the meetup information on this week's show notes. Stay tuned at the end of the show for another announcement from me concerning the Australian Skeptics Convention. But for now, it's time for me to run downstairs and have a nice bowl of chicken and broccoli soup with crusty, buttery toast, a little bit of pepper sprinkled on top, and a hot cup of coffee. I can see thousands of people visualizing this in their minds right now, including you. While I do that, I hope you enjoy the Skeptic Zone. Another glorious day in Sydney, Australia. It's Sunday, the 27th of May, and I'm making my way through the precinct known as Darling Harbour to the exhibition centre for Mind, Body, Spirit. Oh, yes. Long-time listeners to the show will certainly be familiar with Mind, Body, Spirit, or Mind, Body, Wallet, of course, as we call it. I'll be meeting up with some other skeptics, and we'll do the rounds of the stalls and information booths and people selling no end of craziness. Such a nice day here in Sydney. There's lots of people wandering around the Darling Harbour area. But as ever, Mind, Body, Wallet promises to be, if nothing else, interesting. It's interesting that for many years, 20 years, the festival has been a paying event. In other words, you buy your ticket. Over the years, the fare, the entry price increased until last year, I think, when the festival moved back to the heart of Sydney from one of the suburbs. It's free. It's free. You register online, but you get a free ticket, which sort of makes sense. They certainly get a lot more people coming, and I wonder if the exhibitors have to pay a bit more. But I think from a marketing point of view, that's a success, that you don't have to line up and get a ticket, pay money. I think it was $16 last time I paid for it, and that could put a few people off. I'm just out the front of the festival now, and it's very busy. Lots of people here heading towards the festival, so I imagine once inside, and it's inside a giant hall number 4, it looks like, it's going to be quite crowded. Hello, Trish. It's Trish Hann here, looking like somebody else. You're incognito today, I think.
I've been watching far too much of The Americans recently, and now I want to be a Russian spy.
You look like a Russian spy. I won't say much, folks, but Trish is in disguise. And you're here to do some investigating yourself.
Yeah, I'm just going to do some more research for the talk I'm giving at Skepticon later on this year. I'm going to go in and just kind of see what people will sell me.
Anything, I think, is that they'll sell you hope, Trish. They'll sell you hope. And Daryl, hi, Daryl. Good to see you along.
Hi there, it's nice to be here at my first Mind, Body, Spirit Festival.
No, really?
Wow.
Yep, that's right.
I'm shocked.
Perhaps I'll find out what a spirit is. I have no idea.
You just might. But it's a lovely day. We're just waiting for one other person, I think, then we'll brave it. I think it's going to be quite crowded, but well, that's part of the fun and the magic, Trish, I think.
Yeah, indeed.
It's interesting periodically for me, if I could speak on a personal note here, being at events like this, because, well, not so much now, because I'm not on TV regularly as a skeptic, only periodically. But when I was on TV regularly as a skeptic, and then to appear at something like this, I'd get a lot of looks. Oh boy. And quite a few people coming up to me, either just saying hello or asking me why I would come to a Mind, Body, Spirit festival, or what are you doing here, Mr. Skeptic, you don't believe. Some people got aggressive, not really, not too often. But these days, I can normally get around places like this, and maybe one or two people will recognise me or know who I am or think they've seen me somewhere. Generally speaking, it doesn't really hurt things like investigations. I mean, part of the reason we're here is to see if there are any really obviously dodgy things going on, and then maybe report those to the correct authorities. But also, I think it's so important to, every 6 months, to just be here. It refreshes your memory, it educates you as to how people think. You always gain a fresh understanding of how people can be sincerely deluded, very well-meaning people behind booths and things, selling something they really, really think is of benefit and a wonderful, magical thing for the rest of society. And I think for any skeptic, it's very important to keep that in mind, that a lot of the people we deal with are not, in fact, out to fleece the public. And we're in, and the first thing we see is one of these computer programs, computer devices where they stick a pair of headphones on you, and apparently this machine will scan your entire body, show you pictures of your internal organs, and zap viruses. Long-time listeners and anybody with a brain will realize what utter nonsense that is, but it's one of the things on the long list of products that we should make a fuss about. Anyway, we've seen one of those. Also lovely things like cupcakes and henna tattoos just for fun, earrings and good things too. And there's usually some yummy hot sauce here. But yes, no end of what we might call woo. Well, a little bit later on, and we've came across the stand of people selling foot shoe inserts. And to demonstrate how wonderful these inserts are, they do the old balance tricks, the old applied kinesiology balance tricks, just like Powerband used to do. Well, there's nothing new under the sun. And what are we passing here? Crystal jewellery, Chinese acupuncture and massage, spiritual gifts, the Happy Herb shop, lots of feathers everywhere. As Daryl pointed out, they seem to be using the word turmeric a lot around here, aren't they? Yes. You've seen it a few times. And feathers. And feathers, yes. I saw singing with a woman on stage with feathers in her hair singing away. All right, we'll see what's around this corner. So hold it like this. It looks like I'm talking on the phone, you see. And we've just passed, ACU Energetics, Body Healing Plus Mind, it says. And there are 3 tables, like doctors' tables. And there are 3 ladies on the table, and they're surrounded by people just pointing at them very close or vaguely touching them and just standing there. And I think what they think they're doing is channeling some sort of mystical energy to make the quote-unquote patients feel better. But the impression that we get as we look at them, Daryl, is that they look like they're genuinely believing that they're helping people. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. They look very serious.
They do look serious. From a vantage point, sort of hidden down the hallway a little bit, down the corridor, on this particular part of the exhibition, I can see the Orgone Effects booth, and the others have gone there to chat to them, because if the Orgone Effects people see me, well, last time they called security on me to get rid of me. And I wasn't rude, I promise you that. So the others are now having a nice chat, and these are the people who sell a plug you put into the wall, into the power socket that's supposed to cleanse your house with orgone energy. You can look that one up, which Choice magazine had a few things to say about. And what I ask you, what would a Mind Body Wallet festival be like without an aura camera? The whole body aura, an interactive aura experience. The sign says whole body aura and interpretation only $50. The aura is an electric energy field that surrounds every living organism. It's electric. Each person has a unique vibrational resonance which reflects his or her state of mind, body, and inner being. It goes on and on. Oh, good old aura cameras. Well, you know you're at a Mind Body Wallet when you see one of those. A couple more observations. There's a group here getting people to sign a petition to stop regulations against so-called alternative medicines, so I'll be interested to read up on that. And it's a little bit galling, really, to pass astrology at the moment, because here in the past week in Australia, or the week before when this show goes out, our national broadcaster had a 3-night special about astronomy with Brian Cox and wonderful people, wonderful astronomers from Australia taking part. It was inspiring and great for the younger generation, and there was a world record, Guinness World Record of gazing at the moon. So it does stick in my craw a little bit to see astrology here at the moment. And on the corner where I am, there's a life-size cardboard cutout of the Pope. And there he is waving away. I'm passing the open-air psychic reading room. $50 for 25 minutes, and there's a wall here of psychics, and you can choose which one you want to see, and or you can view. You can just come around the corner here and view the whole open-air room. And there are about 150 tables, and a huge... Oh, here we are at the end. There's a big waiting area of people lined up or sitting down lined up to have their tarot cards read, or their palm read, or their future spied at, or whatever your little heart desires. How the last couple of hours have just flown by. I've lost everybody. We all got weirdly separated. Someone was interested in one thing and somebody was interested in another. Oh.
Hey,
Thank
you, buddy. Thank you very much.
There we go.
Thank you. Sorry.
Some stall just had an accident then, things went flying. Must have been the energy. Now, speaking of the word energy, if I was to put a label here on the word, or as I was to identify, I should say the one word misused most often at this, and probably every mind, body, wallet, is the word energy. I've lost count of how many times I've seen it written or referred to. It simply means anything they want it to mean in any context. The negative energy, cleansing the energy in this device, channeling the energy, massaging the energy, on and on and on. The crystals with their embedded energy. The second word I would say would be frequencies. No, possibly vibration, especially higher vibration. This, whatever it is, operates at a higher vibration, or words to that effect. If you go along to a Mind Body Wallet, you might discover the same yourself. Well, the best part about Mind Body Wallet, of course, is the debrief afterwards, and we've come up the street here into the heart of Sydney, found a nice convenient pub, and over a few necessary drinks we're discussing the activities. Trish, I think you did enjoy yourself.
Oh, yeah, but it's kind of in the same way that you enjoy running a marathon. You know, it's exhausting and you think you're never going to do another one, and then, funny enough, a year goes around and you do it again. Out comes the wig and off you go.
Yes, the wig is off. Now, you've been gathering information for your talk at the Skeptics convention, and I hope that you found today worthwhile in that respect. Yeah,
depressingly worthwhile. It was nice to see that quite a lot of the stuff that was on offer was the same old stuff. There was lots of stuff that has been going for years, and you know what? Over it. But there was some stuff that was new that was very, very concerning. Some stuff which has been around maybe in the States for a while, but it's the first time I've seen it available in Australia. So I think I'll be having some letters to write soon.
Fantastic. Well, it's another reason for people to hurry up and get their early tickets for the convention, because we're all looking forward to this talk now.
No pressure.
No pressure, no. Well, thank you, everybody. Cheers, and thanks for coming to Mind Body Wallet once again.
Hi, I'm Trish Hann, and I'm a radiographer and a clinical educator at the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital here in Sydney. I'm thrilled to be speaking at this year's Skepticon, and I'll be taking on a whistle-stop tour through the world of women's woo. I'm currently investigating undercover here at Mind Body Spirit Festival, where quacks and charlatans prey on women, and particularly vulnerable women, I've noticed. I found some absolute stonkers here, which I can't wait to share with you here in October. We've all heard of healing crystals and homeopathy, but do you know what a yoni egg is? One of the biggest challenges for skeptics and critical thinkers is finding the balance between information and ridicule, and it's an important skill to learn if you want to be able to reach those outside of your own echo chamber. It's no wonder that many of those who subscribe to dodgy beliefs double down when they're questioned, if the questioning is done in a way that makes them feel stupid. Put yourself in their shoes, how would you feel?
Of course, it's a lot of fun to go to Mind Body Wallet twice a year. Fun? Yeah, it can be fun. Interesting, educational, infuriating, enlightening, saddening, sickening. Where's my dictionary, my thesaurus? But one thing that sometimes is overlooked, of course, is it's not just humans that are subject to these wonderful potions and woo and magic. And what else? When I was at Mind Body Wallet just the other week, I came across crystal therapy for your pet. And I thought I'd read you the banner. I took a picture of the large banner at the stall. Crystal therapy for your pet. Established in Sydney, Pet Gems, registered, that's GEMZ. Pet Gems is Australia's first crystal accessory for pets across the country. Complementing research on holistic and alternative therapies for pets, Pet Gems, registered, outsource the finest natural and semi-precious gemstones paired with interchangeable charms to create the perfect accessory tailored to meet the healing needs of your pet. Pictured as one of the products in question, a little charm with a paw print on it, next to a picture of an exceedingly cute puppy, whose paw is resting on a large slab of crystals. About us. Select from an array of gemstone charms individualized to help promote healing, love and well-being for your pet. Each gemstone has powerful energy and therapeutic properties to suit your pet's needs. Simply attach our gemstone charms, which can be mixed and matched, to their collar, lead or harness, and let the energy healing process begin. Namaste. And if you're interested, the bottom has their web page, www.petgems.com.au. I'm sure my friend Dr. Julie Ladder, the skeptical vet over there in the United States, who we contact from time to time, would be interested in this. In fact, I know she is. I sent her this image, and she sent me back a frowning face. But there are testable claims here. For example, it says each gemstone has powerful energy and therapeutic properties to suit your pet's needs. To me, that sounds like a health claim. Even though it's aimed at animals, that's certainly a health claim. And a testable claim. Each gemstone has powerful energy and therapeutic properties. I wonder what this energy is. I wonder what it could be. And from past experiences, the answers would probably be something like vibrations or frequencies. And then it would then fall back to testimonials. We've had hundreds of satisfied customers, etc., etc., etc. So there you go. Another gem, if I might use that word, from Mind Body Wallet. This time marketed at animals. Well, no, it's marketed at humans, of course, who are concerned about their animals. Of course, my dream is to one day go to Mind Body Wallet with representatives from the government health department in tow and maybe from the RSPCA, the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, because, well, it's not being cruel to animals to put this thing on unless it delays proper treatment from a real vet.
Greetings, listeners. It's me, Captain Disillusion. On my YouTube channel called Captain Disillusion, I, Captain Disillusion, analyze viral videos of the strange and unbelievable. I explain how interframe video compression, 3D motion tracking, and stock VFX elements prove that Justin Bieber is not a secret reptilian alien, that those videos of ghost cars are just unintentional optical illusions, and that lightning did not strike a few feet away from a girl on a beach as we saw in the news. I'm real fun at parties. My best friend is a lens flare.
Eat a dimmer switch, Disillusion.
I do know other people. Sometimes they even show up in my videos. People like Skepticism's grandpa, James Randi, Cirque du Soleil acrobat Erica Lins, weight loss enthusiast Penn Jillette, and the actual Beekman from Beekman's World. I hope you'll check out my adventures, interact with me in a platonic way, and even consider becoming a patron of my work. You can do all that and more on YouTube or at CaptainDisillusion.com.
This February was the 20th anniversary of one of the most damaging and far-reaching cases of scientific fraud in living memory. 20 years ago, Andrew Wakefield, or to give him his full medical title, Andrew Wakefield, published an article in the UK medical journal The Lancet, which, although it was retracted and he was stripped of his medical licence, led to a pervasive myth which reached far beyond the normal Lancet audience and continues to do damage to this day. I'm sure most Skeptic Zone listeners know the story, but here's a quick oversimplified recap. Wakefield used his status as a doctor to perform desperately unethical blood tests on children at birthday parties in return for payment. He then used these tests as a basis for his preposterous hypothesis that autism is caused by vaccines, namely the MMR vaccine. What he didn't publish in that article was that he had several financial interests in the lawsuits against the manufacturers of that vaccine and was also financially invested in a single vaccine intended to replace it. Super dodgy, right? I'd highly recommend you read one of the many detailed accounts of the case if you're interested. It's honestly morbidly fascinating. So the paper itself was 20 years ago, but it took a couple of years before the anti-vax hysteria really took hold in the UK and beyond. By about 2003, the anti-MMR frenzy had peaked and was having a significant effect on vaccination rates internationally. Parents were proudly declaring their anti-vax views, and while some were only eschewing the MMR itself, many were declaring all vaccines evil and boycotting even the day zero vitamin K injection administered to prevent catastrophic hemorrhaging in infants. We're now coming to a time when many of these children are reaching adolescence and are legally able to make medical decisions for themselves. This isn't something I had even considered until last year when I was chatting with a prospective medical student who had applied for work experience in a hospital and had been denied a placement as they were completely unvaccinated. This poor teenager was devastated and had no idea the extent of what their parents had done. From what I could gather from the brief conversation, they knew their classmates were having boosters and that they weren't, but they figured the regular visits to the naturopath were adequate substitutes. And why wouldn't you? Teenagers have a lot of information to hold in their heads, and if your parents had made all of your medical decisions so far, you would trust them to be on top of things. So this 15-minute chat opened my eyes to a new age of enlightenment for our younger generations. Several months after meeting this disappointed wannabe doctor, I changed jobs, and one of the areas of my new role involves coordinating placements for students wishing to spend time in a clinical environment. So recently, I've been receiving and vetting applications from Year 10 students, some of whom are inquiring about work experience because the school tells them they have to, while the others are following a true calling in life. Yes, kids, I can tell the difference. Generally, they email me asking if there are placements available, and I respond with the necessary paperwork and explicitly detail the vaccination information required from them. Some will just never return the paperwork and I'll never hear from them again, and this could be for various reasons, not related to their vaccination status. But others have sent me follow-up questions about whether the vaccination information is mandatory, or they simply return the paperwork with large blank sections and I have to give them the bad news that they might pose a risk to our patients if they were allowed to attend. In all of these cases, the first reaction has been disbelief, usually quickly followed by anger, either at me or at their parents. A couple of students asked me what they should do to rectify the situation, and my kind of informal answer was, well, firstly, make sure you have no medical reasons to have not been vaccinated. And if there is no good reason, well, you're going to need to decide whether you're going to confront your parents or go get vaccinated in secret. Adolescents are assessed on an individual basis by their GP as to whether they can reasonably understand information and give informed consent. And if they are deemed mature enough, they can make their own decisions about their medical care. Anecdotally, we are now perhaps witnessing a new age of kids rebelling against their parents, not with piercings or tattoo needles, but with vaccinations. For some of these students, unfortunately, it's too late for them to get work experience in medicine, as they have a very small window in which to arrange placements, but I really, really hope they continue to pursue the career if they're still keen. They've already shown themselves to be capable of critical thinking in the face of arguments from authority, and we need more of them. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Generation Z may not have stable housing, pensions or clean air when they grow up, but they can work to undo the damage their parents did in neglecting their immunity at least. Thanks for listening. This is Trish Hann for the Skeptic Zone.
From the dawn of time, one podcast has unlocked the secrets of science and technology to enrich the lives of billions. And now, after a year where they've unlocked the golden age of knowledge, they're about to hit warp speed and go stratospheric.
Wait, hold up.
On Oh No, Ross and Carrie, we don't make extraordinary claims, we investigate them.
We go undercover with fringe religious groups, investigate paranormal claims, and we participate in pseudoscientific medical treatments and then report our findings to you.
And yes, we've even investigated Scientology.
Shh, Ross, shh. New episodes every month at MaximumFun.org.
Oh No, Ross and Carrie. They show up so you don't have to.
Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone. Now, Sydney listeners, Australian listeners, worldwide listeners, interplanetary listeners, interdimensional creatures who only come here to vandalise crop fields. Don't forget the Australian Skeptics National Convention is in October this year in Sydney at the concourse in Chatswood. Very easy to get to. It's right on a main train line, very easy to get to. And don't forget this year there will be a creche. So if you've got a young one or two, and you normally can't attend these sort of things due to those constraints, we'll have a creche. But the lineup is very exciting, including Dr. Susan Blackmore, Dr. Pamela Gay, Alan Duffy. I'll be taking part in a panel to discuss good old-fashioned skepticism like Yowies and Bigfoot and ghosts and all that sort of thing. Looking forward to that. And Dr. Karl Kruzelniski will be there too. Now, I will be lining up interviews with these wonderful people over the next few months. And in fact, I know the Australian Skeptics will be posting up little video snippets and clips from upcoming speakers. Skeptics.com.au for more information. Or indeed, you can go to convention.skeptics.com.au as well. Now, if you're in Sydney this week, don't forget to head to Skeptics in the Pub on Thursday night, the 7th of June, at the Occidental Hotel in Wynyard, near Wynyard. Just minutes from Wynyard Station, very close. This month we have Dr. Brad Mackay from Embarrassing Bodies, who will give you the lowdown on My Health Record. And that's an online summary of key health information which can be accessed at any time by a patient and healthcare providers. Always a great time at Sydney Skeptics in the pub. Sorry, I won't be there. I'll send Maynard. Yeah, I'll send Maynard to run around with the microphone asking the hard questions. More details at skeptics.com.au, or if you just Google Sydney Skeptics in the pub, or it's at over at Meetup too. Now here's a message from my friends at a relatively new venture called This Is 42 at thisis42.com, links in the show notes, who tell me that the world-renowned physicist Michio Kaku is coming to Australia and New Zealand with a tour called The Future of Humanity. The Future of Humanity draws on Kaku's latest book to tackle the unique terrestrial and extraterrestrial concerns of the 21st century. Kaku will take audiences on an exhilarating journey through the latest developments in string theory, astronomy, futurism, and interplanetary colonization. Attendees will not only get to engage in in-depth discussion, but they also have the fantastic opportunity to ask Kaku any burning questions in person. If you're interested in this sort of thing, and it sounds sort of interesting to me, why not check out thisis42.com, again links in the show notes, for this tour coming up in Australia and New Zealand. And I note the Australian tour dates are around November, and the New Zealand tour dates are late October and in November. Well, now it's time for me to run around the house to start to pack my bags. I'm flying out in midweek to the Bay Area, San Francisco, to have a few days to sort of get my head together after jet lag, which knocks me around a little bit. And then I'll be at Berkeley on the weekend to see everybody at Skeptical. And if you're listening, Jeannie Scott, I'll bring you a packet of Tim Tams. But for this week, this is Richard Saunders signing off from Sydney, Australia. You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone podcast. Please visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for show notes, contacts, and to access the back catalogue of episodes going back to 2008. You can follow the Skeptic Zone podcast on Twitter at Skeptic Zone, visit our Facebook page, or leave a review on iTunes. You can also support the Skeptic Zone via Patreon or PayPal. The Skeptic Zone podcast is an independent production. The views and opinions expressed on the Skeptic Zone are not necessarily those of Australian Skeptics or any other skeptical organisation.